What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. We are finally back building the KTM 450. It's been long awaited. If you didn't watch my last video, it's because I have been moving from Orange County back up to my hometown, Thousand Oaks. I'm now back in my old stomping grounds. I have my shop, which is right behind me. We mostly spend all the time here working on cars, but I finally moved my whole workspace from my last house here, so I have a huge work area. I'll show you guys in a minute. I didn't really have a due date for this bike, so there wasn't a lot of motivation to get it built up, but I agreed to go to the FMX Bike Club, which isn't really FMX, it's more of a free ride competition with step up, best whip, and quarter pipe. I can whip all right. I need a little bit of practice. I went out yesterday to McNeil's Ranch and I hit the quarter pipe for the first time, which was terrifying. It's the most intimidating thing I've ever done, probably. I think even more intimidating than some of the jumps that we do in Supercross. And then the step up, which is also like staring at a giant wall that you're about to ride up. And those were two obstacles that I've never done, and it was terrifying. So got those in my back pocket now, feeling a little bit more confident. I don't think that I'm gonna go out there and crush it and beat these guys. These guys are at those kind of disciplines for years now, and they are incredibly talented athletes. It's just an opportunity for me to kind of expand my resume and really just bring you guys along. It's gonna be a really cool event. The guys are awesome, super fun group of guys to be around, and I really can't wait it. Now that I finally hit the step up and hit the quarter pipe, a little bit more stress is off me. The only thing left to do is build this bike. So I just pulled up to the shop. I'm gonna go unload some of the parts. I gotta show you guys a little bit more in depth on some of the parts. I know you guys are gonna have a lot of questions, so I'm gonna do my best to answer those. And if not, then I'll point you guys in the right direction to get those things answered. But like I said, let's go unload and check everything out. All right, so here's the workspace. This is almost identical to my setup that I had back at home. So excited to have this back in my own shop, which we are giving home to a lot of bikes. And then obviously our car setup is back there. But mainly focusing on this area. On Instagram, I posted a picture kind of highlighting all the new parts that I got. I think the biggest questions that I had was about the frame, and a lot of you guys wanted to know what I did to it and if I was just gonna clear coat it, which it is already clear coated. So the process, I'm not exactly sure on how they do it, but basically what they do, I think it might be a chemical strip or a heat strip to get the paint off of it, and then they clear coat it, which as you can see, it gets really shiny and really cool looking. And before they clear coat it, they heat all these welds up to give it a little bit more color. And before it's clear coated, these actually don't look as cool. They look a little bit more dull, but after the clear coating process, this is a specific kind of clear coat. It's not just any random clear coat. I'm not exactly sure. It's like industrial something or other. He explained it to me while I was there, but I really don't remember, and he's the expert, so I wouldn't try it anyways. A lot of you guys on Instagram had a ton of questions about this. So if you're interested in doing this, I either recommend hitting up my guy Kelly from Specialized Coatings. He's out in Orange County in Huntington Beach. I highly recommend if you're in SoCal, just take it to him. He'll do, you know, he can do any kind of coloring or coating or whatever you're looking for. But if you want this specifically done to a KTM or Husqvarna, because they are steel frame. They also did my swing arm, which is just powder coated black. A lot of the other random parts like brake lever, engine hangers, linkage, levers, shifter. These are the spacers that go on the pipe. But yeah, should be pretty rad. I got my parts from Moto Stuff. These are the Proline titanium foot pegs. These are the same thing that I'm running on the 252 stroke build we did. So I love these things, can't wait to throw those on. Got some Renthal bars and sprocket. And then I had my Nihilo parts like my skid plate and my clutch and ignition covers. Brake parts were all Cerakoted. I think I showed these in the last video, I'm not sure, but Cerakoted brake parts, these are all hot parts, so they need a different kind of coating to withstand the heat that's gonna be going through the brake pads and everything. So my guy Mohead did that. If you wanna follow him on Instagram, go check him out. He's a super talented mechanic, so excited to have him along board on this build. He also did the engine, which obviously you don't wanna just hand this off to anybody, so I trusted him and his skill set to get this thing dialed in. This is also Cerakote. Because of the high temps that obviously go in the engine, this needs to be a special kind of coating. I wouldn't really recommend doing this to like a race bike or anything like that, but since this is more of a fun bike where I'm not gonna be doing 30-minute motos, the black's obviously gonna attract a little bit more heat, but like I said, it's not a race bike, so it'll should be just fine for this build. And then we have my shock and my forks over here that I just picked up from KYB. These are valved and sprung to what I'm gonna need to do for the FMX Fight Club. Very stiff settings in those. I think they're even stiffer than my Supercross settings. So excited to have KYB and Technical Touch along with this build. They are a huge help. And I know a lot of you guys were telling me to go with the cone valve system, and I think that's a great option for sure. I just have such a good relationship with KYB that I wanted to kind of continue that relationship and keep that going on. And really love those guys. I've been with them for like 6 years on the factory team, and I really trust the guys over there and love working with them. Trolley Designs and KTM hooked me up with this bike to practice on for now, which I'm super happy that they did that, because otherwise I would literally just show up to the competition with zero practice. I guess I could take this bike if I got the suspension redone, but I didn't really want to mess with this. It's not my bike. It's just a loaner bike from Vital, and the guys over at Twisted did an awesome job. Another thing, after I got this bike, I noticed how much of the exhaust shows, and with the dark theme of this bike, I really didn't want the exhaust to kind of pop as much as it did. So I hit up my guys over at Yoshimura, and they set me up with a full carbon one. So this should look really cool with all the black and dark colors that I have going on. I also have the radiators over here. My dude Mikey over at Bleach Design Works, you know him if you've been following the channel for a while. He set me up and painted my airbox for me as well, because you cannot find a different color airbox. They only make them in white. So we just paint them with a special kind of paint. He tries to sand them, get them as smooth as he can, and then throw a coat of paint on there. That's most of the stuff that I picked up over the last couple of days. I don't really know how the order of operations is gonna go with this bike. I always start with putting the engine back in the frame first, but with this one, I might put the suspension on. I might do the clamps, the linkage, and the swing arm and everything, which I know I'm gonna have to take the swing arm bolt back out to put the engine in, but it's always kind of awkward and unbalanced on the stand, so I kind of want to go that route this time. So wish me luck, here we go. Let's start this build on the KTM 450. All right, so correction, there is this T that the radiator hose uses that actually sits inside the frame in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in first, and then I need a special tool to tighten it up. So I'm gonna do that, and then I talked to my old race mechanic, and I said, hypothetically, if you were putting together a KTM 450, where would you start? And he said to put the neck of the frame on the stand, just like I already have it, and then put the engine in, and then attach the swing arm. So I'm gonna start there, and I'll update you guys. All right, so here's the progress so far. We got the engine in. I had some titanium bolts for this, but I must have ordered like a 350 or a 251, so I hit up my guys at Moto Stuff. So soon we'll have tie there and tie on the bottom, which you can't really see, but got the engine in, linkage, swing arm, everything's kind of tight. I'm gonna go ahead and torque this stuff once everything's built, because I need to do a once over on this thing. Got the shock in there. I think this red spring's really gonna pop when you are able to see it. It's definitely a lot more visible right now than anything, but yeah, once I get the subframe on and all that stuff, it'll be kind of covered, but when you get a glimpse of it, it'll be really cool. So I'm gonna throw this thing on the stand and start working on the front end now. All right, we got the X-Trig clamps with the KYB Technical Touch forks on here, along with some 999 twin walls. Just gotta put the disc and sprocket on the wheels, pulling off the stock wheels, and we can get this thing sitting right on the stand. Alright guys, so here we are so far. Things kind of escalated since the last clip. I think I'm pretty sure I already updated with putting on the forks, throwing on the front wheel. I already put the disc on, got everything kind of tight in the front end, and then moving on to the back, I kept trying to put the rear wheel on, forgetting I guess everything that goes on back here. One thing that I'm kind of bummed, I forgot to get these powder coated, but they're kind of integrated, this is all one piece, it's kind of pressed in there, so not too worried about that. I might be able to go by a local dealer and grab a black or an orange pair or whatever, just kind of tie it all in, but it doesn't look that bad with silver. Just got these kind of tightened up, but I forgot that I needed the brake on there in order to, space the wheel out the right way. So went ahead and connected the brake. I haven't put the brake pedal on yet, but got the master cylinder and everything buttoned up, and then went ahead and threw on some Dunlop tire stickers. These are very hard to come by. Don't ask me how to get them. Follow Dunlop on Instagram because they sometimes give out tire stickers with the purchase of certain tires, so keep an eye out for that. But they are very hard to put on. I think it's not really a sticker, it's actually like an acidic backing on the print. So what I do is cut off all the nipples on the back, and then take contact cleaner and really clean the tire really well, get all the oils off of it, and then put it on there. And it takes 5 minutes to put on one sticker, so you're kind of pushing it and working it as you go around. So you got to get that thing to kind of bite into the tire. But like I said, they're kind of hard to come by, but I've seen Dunlop do giveaways with them. I try and line them up with whatever rim I'm running. I'm running a DID on these, so I kind of line it up with the sticker. I think that's what a lot of the factory mechanics do, so that's where I got that trick. But if you're in an Excel, it looks cool if you put it underneath the Dunlop too. So kind of just gives it a little bit more uniform. But this thing is coming out absolutely ridiculous. Like when I had the vision for this bike, I really didn't expect it to look like as good as it does right now. I knew that using kind of all these really unique parts, it was gonna come together really well, but this is kind of above and beyond what I expected. So shout out to everyone that's been involved. Everyone from the powder coaters to the Mohead who did the Cerakote, to Technical Touch who did the suspension for this thing, and KYB who revalved it for me, W with the wheels. And then as I go along, I'll be installing like these Nihilo ignition guards and clutch cover, and then I have a tie oil plug right there too. So Moto Stuff sent me all this tie hardware. I got it right here. I got the fork lugs all dialed in with tie. Everywhere that I can find what they sent me, I'm putting in as we go along. They also sent me an entire set of, this is for the entire engine, so I'll be going through the engine and replacing it with some of this tie hardware. It looks cool with all black engine, but I think with the tie hardware in here, it's gonna look even better. So pretty excited about that. I'm gonna set the camera down and kind of focus on what I need to do next, but I just wanted to pick it up and update you guys really quick. All right, so this is where I'm gonna end it today. I also have 3 other build days planned, so I'll be vlogging the whole time, but got a lot done today. It's kind of one of those things where like you run into a speed bump off camera, I have to handle it, and then I don't know, get back to it and pick up the camera and vlog. But just trying to bring you guys along for the ride. But got the throttle body in, ran the cables. I did start scraping the stock grip off, and I realized that that's not gonna work. If you look, the end is actually thicker, and you'd have to file it down. So my buddy Mikey from Bleach Design Works that you guys have seen on the channel before, he has a Pro Taper one that he's gonna give me. So stoked on that. Thank you, Mikey. Other than that, I mean, I just kind of got everything squared away to start running the wiring. I did have to take apart this airbox. It comes apart in 3 pieces. It's this main piece that is actually the airbox that the filter kind of bolts up to, and it's this is one plastic piece itself, and then this is another one, and then this main one that backs up to there. So I had to kind of figure out how that all went back together, and also try and be really careful, because if you look close, every time you kind of nick it on the other piece of plastic or on the subframe itself, it kind of shows the white again. So try to be careful with that. I might throw a little bit of clear tape on the back just for a roost, kind of protection so it doesn't chip itself up. But got that back all together, and the reason I did that is because the battery sits in there as well as a lot of the wiring. So I just kind of got that all squared away, ready to mount up tomorrow, run the wiring. As you can see, that cluster over there is the whole wiring setup. Got a little bit more tie for the bike over there, plastics, pipe, and tomorrow, by the end of tomorrow, I should pretty much be ready for the home stretch and just buttoning everything up. Oh, I gotta put the foot pegs on too, and some of the brake stuff, and bleed the brakes, bleed the clutch as well. But that is in the following couple days, so stay tuned. Build's coming along sick. I'm really excited and really happy with the results so far, but we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. If you don't already subscribe, like the video, that does a lot for the channel, kind of pushes the videos and gets us more views and more exposure. So thank you again. We'll see you in the next one. Later on.
Aside from my soul.